Okay, fine. Asr is taking place in the Haram. No problem. Asr is over. People are coming out after Asr. We enter the Haram. Okay, we made our dua, lengthy dua. We observed our Asr. So we made one salah on the Maqam. We remained in dua without starting our Umrah. We remained in dua till Maghrib. We got one jahri, one loud salah on the Maqam. Then we did our tawaf between Maghrib and Isha. Then we got Isha on the Haram. So I got Asr, Maghrib, Isha on the Haram, on the Maqaf. Then now free. We go next Saturday, we come out, we go and eat Hadis. It's locally. No, I don't advise taking the Haram because I can't claim to be a Muslim who has ethics in my work, in my business. Where every year, at some point in the year, they tell you must do ethics and compliance. Huh? So there you say, no, I won't fraud, I won't cheat, etc., etc. Then now you come to Allah's house where Allah knows everything. You say, but it's a man-made system. But a man-made system, why? Because the man-made system that's built on systems thinking, that's built on the idea of ikram, Muslim, of guaranteeing my wife, my daughter, my mother, a more carefree experience where she isn't being poked in her ribs all the time, where no man is groping her and rubbing against her. I said, no, but I'm just one. But we know the whole of South Africa, all the men do what? They're not just one. They're not hundreds, they're thousands, all faking haram. Then they all complain when someone touches their wife and their daughter. Don't be a fake. Really. It's a hard pill to swallow, but it's an important one. Many a times in this individualist, materialist world, selfish world that we live in, we put ourselves first. But Habibuna Muhammad was not like this. وَلَا تَمْنُ تَسْتَكْثِرْ. Do not give expecting something in return. What's the concept here? Selflessness. Alas, I wanted a comfortable experience of Umrah. Allah is facilitating it for me as a male or as a female by virtue of this human restriction. Now let other people enjoy. I'm a man, I'm a rajul. I'm supposed to be in jihad. أجعلتم سقاية الحج وعمارة المسجد الحرام كمن آمن بالله واليوم الآخر وجاهد في سبيل الله. Can you take the one who gives water to the pilgrims and looks after the upkeep and the maintenance of the masjid is equal to the one who wages war in the path of Allah? No, you can't. You say, no, I'm a good Muslim, I'm making it haram, I'm making more umrahs. No. Take a laughing stock of yourself when you understand things in perspective, when you have a sense and you're trying to imbibe. It's a difficult pill to swallow. Most South African brothers, mashallah, and look at they don't wear clothes. You see them there, mashallah, walking in the shopping. Muhammad, how are you? Inshallah, you just finished Umrah. No. I've seen some of my teachers do it. Does it mean I disrespect them as my teachers? No. Doesn't work for me. Doesn't work for people who say this class. Because we are people of consistency. Based on what we learned from Habibuna Mustafa Muhammad. We don't cut corners. We don't take shortcuts. We're not playing games with Allah. I want the women folk of the Ummah. Muhammad said on the journey, the prophetic Hajj, ruwaydan bi qawarir, gently with the glass bottles, with the glass vases. I want the women folk of my home and of the Ummah to have a good experience on the maqam. And hence, Allah will give me the chance. You'll ask, when is the chance? When is the chance? In the days immediately after releasing from Ihram of Hajj. For up to 2 weeks, there's no restriction on anyone being on the maqam. Ask those who made Hajj recently, they tell you. So what's the dua you make? Allah, I want to make ibadah on the maqam. What are you telling Allah? Allah, I want to be here for Hajj. Al-Bayt guest services, Nusuk app. Allah will open. So you'll get the chance. You don't need to fake it.
On that, based on ethics, all right, the completion of your Nusuk app application for Hajj or whatever the case may be going for should then be as honest as you possibly can.
Okay, so there's
for the purpose of, and I know basically on some of you may have seen groups mentioning that certain restrictions will be on those that have major illnesses and things like that. So
Jazakumullah khair. MashaAllah, very. So in terms of the Nusuk Hajj application, it's separate to our discussion for Umrah. You need to make full disclosure in terms of your medical conditions. Do remember also that some, I think there's a more recent one that's come out, and it was just with regards to the vaccines. Some of the media feeds from earlier in the week and before indicated that if you have certain conditions, you won't be able to make Hajj. That wasn't a credible news source. The one that has come out in the last 48 odd hours is just with regards to what vaccines will be required for Hajj. But we are always people of ethics. What does Quran say? Because you'll tell me, but I saw Mufti so-and-so's fatwa. Okay, so let's take Mufti so-and-so's fatwa and we take Allah's word. كونوا قوامين بالقسط شهداء لله ولو على أنفسكم. Be the champions of justice. شهداء لله, giving testimony to Allah. ولو على أنفسكم, even if it is against yourself. That is a very high aspiration in a world of very fickle people. But it's what we aspire to as Muslims. So it's what we do. Sisters, 5 or 6 tawafs a day, very easy for you. How? You have unrestricted access to the mataf at all times. What's the sweet spot? And then I'm going to take sisters' question. The sweet spot is where there's the biggest amount of time, the greatest quantum of time between two awqat of salah. So you want to make, you can make 10 tawafs a day. What is it? I'm not going to exaggerate it. You decide Isha is now, the first 1.5 hours after Isha is going to be busy. I'll take them, give them food, whatever else. 10 o'clock, I'm going back to the house. 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the morning, you can make part. Like you finish all 5, 6 tawafs between 10 and 2 and you're like, okay, now I still got time. Must I stay at the Fajr, must I go and rest? Good. And the other would be between Fajr and Dhuhr. So, mashallah, you exit the haram, appreciating Fajr is late because it's winter months, you come out, you have breakfast, you get another 2 hours in the haram, the sun is not baking down on you. I did mention, albeit winter, it's not cold, there is the sun, but the shade of the buildings falls over the entire mataf. So, between like 8, 8:30, realistically, because Fajr is late, between 8:30, even 9, 11 o'clock, mashallah, make party on the mataf. Relatively quiet compared to close to any of the salah times. The tawaf doesn't get restricted or interrupted because, salah times, females must move off, all of that. MashaAllah, you can do comfortably 7, 8, 9, push it 10 tawafs a day. On the mataf. Actually, you take the younger kiddies with you, like 6 and under boys, let them capitalize. Reasonable video. The younger kids, they will, right? So younger male kids, they will. Makkah, they're a little bit more lenient. Medina, in terms of Rawda, it's like very strict. Just a note for the sisters, if you have young girls, so like 5 and under, sometimes they will restrict you from taking them to the Rawda. Just based on them feeling that they may be a disturbance to other people because of the crowded, congested nature of the Rawda. Brothers, alhamdulillah, generally a bit easier. If the girl children are somewhat disadvantaged in terms of getting to the Rawda, send them with the dads to the Rawda. So you say, I got a son and a daughter, and you mentioned, I'm talking about the young ones, right? Once the girls hit 7 and up, naturally, they're not going to allow them to mix. Yes. So good husband. This is the one where they say must be champions of justice against yourself. Right? No vested interest in terms of who you knew first. Okay, fine. Okay, so subhanAllah, we look at this from 2 perspectives. One, we look at it from the vantage point of which you're asking, is there advantage in terms of making Umrah first Hajj, right? If the opportunity presents itself for Umrah before Hajj. The second is, I would add a fiqh dimension to this. We appreciate that in certain schools of jurisprudence, we have what's referred to as the Umrah Islam. So there's a level of increased encouragement for Umrah, right? We know in all schools of fiqh, there's the encouragement for Hajj. But in certain fiqh schools, there's also an encouragement for Umrah. So let's speak now particularly about the Shafi school. So in the Shafi school, you hear people saying, no, we're making our Umrah Islam. What do you mean? So there's a level of, if you can't make the major pilgrimage, then do the minor pilgrimage. Whereas like in the Hanafi madhab, it's about, strive towards Hajj. There isn't that encouragement from a fiqh perspective towards striving for Umrah. Good. It actually flips the other way. that if you've capacitated yourself for Umrah, now you've somewhat made Hajj more important, exaggerated, urgent upon yourself. So in the Shafi madhab, we would say, subhanAllah, if the capacity exists to be able to make Umrah, complete my Umrah to Islam. I've done my Fard Umrah as a Muslim. Good? Right. In saying that, we got to look at finances as one. We got to look at probability, possibility of Hajj materializing as a second. I have known and experienced and encountered subhanAllah families in our country where it was a deliberate strategy for them to say we are saving towards our Hajj, good, but in saving for our Hajj, we are saving an extra, some years ago, we're saving an extra 60,000 rand because once our Hajj is confirmed, we're making Umrah before. Kind of aligned with where your question is coming from. So there's also strategy by certain people. Right? Saying that, now if you have to look at it from the fiqh perspective of the Hanafi scholars, okay, I appreciate it. If I make Umrah, then Hajj somewhat becomes incumbent upon me. So they're like, let me make sure that I've hedged to be able to deal with that which is going to become incumbent upon me as a consequence. After I've secured that, now, mashallah, if I make Umrah and say, for instance, because we have no guarantee of life, I pass away, Allah knows that I had the funds in place and at the point the health in place to be able to make my Hajj. So I hope it gives you a little bit of color, but now let's come to a very practical answer or response to your question. Are there things and aspects that you would learn on Umrah as a first trip that will empower you extra for Hajj? The crude answer is no, not really. Because everything that you do on Umrah, you are inevitably going to have to replay on Hajj. That's how you intervention in Umrah, right? Okay. We have to counterbalance my last, subhanAllah, suggestion with something else. We don't know just yet as South African pilgrims or potential pilgrims. Previously, I would have said, don't worry about the Umrah, focus on the Hajj, but make sure you have enough availability and capacity in terms of days for your Hajj so that you undertake the longest possible Hajj term. Because if you went on a 6-week, 7-week, let's go 20 years back, 8-week Hajj trip, you would encounter the Haram and the Haram was so quiet, it would be better than any Umrah experience. Is the same applicable now? No, not really. Is there a likelihood of the same being applicable? We don't know till the end of December when we see what Hajj packages come out to see the duration. So if the durations are looking 4 weeks, 4.5 weeks and less, I would then definitely say, I would change my view towards there will be benefit in doing an Umrah first, but choose the time wisely. And we can offline consult on that, right? Because remember, going on a Hajj trip for 4 weeks is in the peak of things, riding the wave, subhanAllah, at its peak, and the experience can somehow become very overwhelming. So in that sense, if we don't have the opportunity of longer Hajj trips going forward, then I would definitely be inclined, the fiqh considerations in place, towards saying, let's try and do an Umrah trip first, so you get a taste of certain aspects. Now, those aspects of the Hajj trip, which is aka the Umrah, okay, fine, this is procedural. I've seen this before. Let this play out. It's not taking too much mental space. I know the grand prize is the Hajj. I've prepared for that from a class perspective, etc., etc. I'm ready for it. Because if you have to do all of them one go, when you're only entitled to a short trip, then it's the overwhelming nature of the Umrah is going to impact negatively on the Hajj. For those who have not set our classes before, forgive us. We don't give like those yes, no answers. But subhanAllah, there's very deep thinking in terms of how we provide responses. Yes.
So talk about the recent finding what kidnapping was against the individual and the parents and kids. And then as well, in the negotiation and going for this study before we go. What happens now if we have to make, at the same time, if the serious about the striving towards excellence in one country, anything mentioned between this journey, and also being compassionate, showing compassion to the kids that are in that way extremely strict. So with regard to that, we got to make a decision. My first question is, is there something that a specific company during their plan to just help them assist in making a decision and trust in God whether it is correct? Because I don't know which way to know to swing at that different time. And then my second question is, naturally I would feel guilty, that is from laws that I would feel that I haven't received, I haven't achieved my goals and I should be a high achiever and then cut myself short from this trip. So the second question is, during this month or this turmoil that in a country that you're trying to get to, I'm specifically looking for the line of iron between calm and heart and soul, throughout this journey to avoid getting frustrated with myself, with the people around me, to know that, hey, so that all can help me to time.
Excellent. Okay. So a verse doesn't come to my mind immediately, but I can give you two phrases from the Seerah and the Sunnah of Habibul Mustafa Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The one is what we refer to as the shortened form of istikhara. Which I'm at the crossroads here. I only have 7 nights to make istikhara. I need to make a decision. Allahumma khirli waqtabit. Allahumma khirli waqtabit. It's a shortened form of istikhara. Good. And the second, subhanAllah, is an Arabic phrase that grounds us. So now, as an example, your question is extremely valid. Let me take what you are speaking about and amplify it, subhanAllah, exponentially. Imagine someone who has experience of being at the haram often, good, who understands where all, subhanAllah, the niches are, where all the gaps are, where all the opportunities are. Like I told you about the Sheikh, he was the director of the company, right? He sees all the gaps. Like now is the time to be able to get to Maqam Ibrahim, that is sitting here with this way. What does he do? How does he content himself? Sayyidul Qawm Khadimuhum. The leader of the people is the servant. So the idea of servant leadership that was fully, subhanAllah, imbibed by how Muhammad dealt with us. Good. So we appreciate this perspective of Allah. I'm doing this in the servitude of the khidmah of my elderly mom, my children. And my reward is with you. A disclaimer. I can't speak Urdu to save my life. I can barely understand Urdu. But there's a phrase in Urdu that somewhat keeps me grounded. Khidmat se khuda milta hai. Everyone will get ajr and reward by doing ibadah. But the person who is making khidmah will get Allah. It is the same phrase and notion that keeps a mother at the stove, at the furnace. Understand? Allah has created the nature, subhanAllah, of males and females differently. And generally in our homes, our mothers and our sisters and our daughters are more inclined to ibadah than Mrs. Males. Really like playful and, wanting to be there and doing this and doing that, whatever else. But like women are diligent and conscientious. No, I make tilawah after Maghrib every day. I observe Qawabin, etc., etc. But now let's take, for instance, whether winter or summer. Okay, so take, subhanAllah, current situation where Maghrib is late. Now my mother thinks, no, like I want to make Qawabin. Kids are looking at you like we're hungry. It's 7 o'clock. You didn't give us the energy. Understand? Treatment said Kudana. It's fine. I'll serve my family as an example. My rewards with Allah. So hopefully those 3 things will somewhat assist you somewhat. Inshallah, and I'll ponder and reflect a little bit and see if there's anything additional I can share with you.
From the group, Moulaana, please advise on vaccine requirements and if it is restricted with the tourist visa.
Okay, please advise on vaccine requirements and if it is necessary on a tourist visa. So there's no hard and fast vaccine requirements for Umrah other than if you are coming from an area of the world where there is either a need for you to have a yellow fever vaccine to travel. In certain areas of the world, there's a need for you to have a polio vaccine. So then they would require those. Right? We spoke about ethics. Don't falsify, subhanAllah, vaccine records. You are going for Umrah, if you're planning Umrah in this period, you are going for Umrah in the winter months in Saudi Arabia. For those of us with smaller children, you are going to pack into your check-in luggage 2 bottles of Panaro syrup and 2 bottles, other than the panado syrup, 2 bottles of myelin and strawberry. Yeah, for the kids. Understand? And if they start acting up in terms of fever and stuff, then you're going to oscillate between the two. Panado, some hours later, myelin, separate. Very likely to happen. All right? So the winter summer thing is what we need to take into account. And why I came to this is because you appreciate that you're going there into a winter. It's different to our winter in terms of humidity, air quality, altitude, all of that. So there will then be an encouragement for you to get not a prerequisite, but an encouragement to get a regular flu vaccine. But this will, inshallah, go some way in terms of assisting you to be able to manage. If we have young children who are immunocompromised, anyone who's immunocompromised, or subhanAllah, we are traveling with parents, when I say parents, I mean 50 and over, parents to us as adults, right, 50 and over, then the clear recommendation would be to ensure that you have an Umrah visa for them. Because the Umrah visa entitles you to easy access to health facilities in close proximity to the Haram. You don't want to find yourself in a situation of where mom or dad takes ill in Makkah Mukarramah or Madinah Munawwarah, and you have to drive to Ta'if or Badr respectively to have them hospitalized. Umrah visa does allow you access to health facilities, but not in close proximity. A tourist visa does allow you access to health facilities, but not in close proximity to the Haram. So subhanAllah, one in our classes recently returned from Umrah and will tell you about some of the challenges in terms of access to certain medical facilities. It may have been relatively, with the challenges, easier in October. It definitely is going to be very challenging in December, just based on the numbers. So there would have been some compassion. A brother reaches out here, he says, no problem, we'll make a plan, etc., etc. But next time come with an Umrah visa, right? You're not going to have those levels of concession when you hit December and it's first. When you should, oh, wow, good, mashallah. So we're always looking at where we can take the most manfa and the most benefit. Question is, when should we book for the road? Right. Now, we're going into peak season, right? Starts now already. Rajab, Sha'ban, Ramadan. Generally, Rauda bookings open either a week or 2 weeks prior. I haven't checked in the app. I actually need to check because we were booked 2 weeks. Right, so it opens 2 weeks prior. Opens 2 weeks prior would normally open after Jum'ah in Saudi for the 2 weeks again. All right, so let's say my departure date to Medina to Munawwarah is 13th December. It's a Saturday. All right, I'm going to be in Medina to Munawwarah for argument's sake, for ease of reference. Okay, 10 days, 13 to 23rd. In the 13th to 23rd, how many Jum'ahs am I encountering? 1. Because I'm leaving on a Saturday, you count 10 days, I'll go through a Jum'ah, then it's another Saturday, and then Monday, Tuesday, and Monday. Now, the books of Hajj and Umrah would speak about how you go to the Rawdah from the perspective of free access in the past, which is come to Medina Munawwarah, settle down, take a shower, wear fresh clothing, go to the Rawdah. Doesn't work like that. Right? And then at that stage, when those books were written, how long did you get in the Rawdah? As much time as you. Like I have observed, subhanAllah, Salat al-Kusuf and Kusuf, Salah for the lunar and solar eclipse in the Rawdah. Do you get those opportunities today? No, not really. Good. So now you must be smart. I appreciate the question is coming from a sister, but equally for the brothers, and I'm addressed both. You must be smart in terms of your choice because you're getting a limited time. So, as a general law for sisters, any day of the week, you're going to see which days you're going to be there. Any day of the week, you choose the second last slot in the evening, early morning. So if the last slot, for argument's sake, is 11:40 to midnight, you choose 11:20. Knowing that if the 11:40 slot is not busy, they'll allow you to get a double slot. That's a general note. Good. On any day. Now let's come to my example. I left on the 13th, or I checked in on the 13th, I'm checking out on the 23rd. In there, I've got one Jummah. If I had to choose any night, which night am I choosing? There's a night, right? Albeit it's the 6th, 7th day of my trip, I'm choosing Thursday night based on the scarcity of access, the limited access, understand, and the duration with which I would enjoy. So from all the nights, I could have chosen Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. I deliberately chose Thursday night because 11:20, inshallah, I get down slow. Plus, it's Jummah. That's the thinking that you invoke in terms of your choices. So we've covered sisters, all right? Naturally, also there's the balance from other sisters' question. I want to go to the Rawda at 11:20, mashallah, I got this little toddler that I'm weaning off. Good. So you may have to look at other types, but that is a general note. Okay. Other sisters would tell me, but why not Friday morning? Because if I chose the Friday morning slot, I hardly come out of the Rawda. I'm running back to the hotel to have breakfast. Then I'm getting ready to come back for Jummah. No, it's messy. This way, I finished in the Rawda nicely. I came back, I got some sleep. I went for Fajr. I came back, I got ready for Jummah. Everything was cool and comfortable. Right? So, Sister Nadia references point, Haja Nadia references point about balance. It's not just about today. It's about today and the rest of the trip. So, I make a decision now that's good for now, but equally good to make sure that I'm as healthy as possible, firing in all cylinders for the rest of the day. Brothers, so what's my choices in terms of Rawda? Good. We said that I can't make Salah of the lunar eclipse and solar eclipse as easily as I could do before. I know that as a male, I want to get a Salah in the Rawda, Fard Salah. Now, what Salah should I choose? Asr. Okay, alhamdulillah. There's no qira'ah, there's nothing special. Dhuhr. No, I want to get the salah where I can hear the qira'ah, right? Because like all the qira'ah we listen to of the Aimah of Haramain, you know what I mean? The Imams of the Haram, subhanallah. Like I want to be there in the Rawda hearing this come through me, whether it's Salah, Budayr, or Mahi Mu'aykali, or whatever else it may be. So now what's the choice? Maghrib, Isha, Fajr. Aha. Go for gold. I want Jum'ah. So Jum'ah means I must choose, and this goes very quickly. So you know it opens 2 weeks before, right? So I'm going 13. My Jum'ah is going to be on like the 19th, good, which means it's going to open 12. It's going to open around the 6th. So on the 6th, when I walk out of Jum'ah here in South Africa, I must walk out my phone on my Nusuk app, looking for 19th, last slot before Jum'ah. Right, so the last slot before Jum'ah will normally be 10:40 to 11. Good. If I don't get 10:40 to 11, I'll take 10:20. The capacity, based on what they allow on Nusuk, keeping in account that it's going to be close to a Salah, right? The capacity on Nusuk allows for 2 slots. Now, it's not an exact science. Sometimes it's actually better to choose the second last slot. Why? Because then I'm in the row. And then the people in the last slot, mashallah, they fill in all the gaps. So that's the thinking with the brothers. If I don't get Jum'ah, because now 19th, mashallah, what we said, 10:20 to 10:40 filled up, 10:40 to 11 filled up, what do I do? Now I go back. Okay, let me see if I can get either Thursday night, Maghrib or Isha. So once you employ this level of thinking as a female or as a male, respectively, inshallah, you'll do yourself well in terms of either being able to get more time as a female or as a male, being able to, inshallah, get more time, but also get a fard salah. So on my last Umrah trip, based on where I was in my mind, emotionally, spiritually, etc., I kept my Rawda visit because I done Medina multiple times in the trip, meaning I left SA and it was between Medina and Makkah, etc., etc. So I had choices. Do I do it on my first stint in Medina, my second stint in Medina, my third stint in Medina? I was like, I'm leaving, but I'm leaving Medina, departing for home alone without the group, right? So the last few hours, everyone knows like, this guy's going home, like the ziyarat are over. So I distinctly, deliberately left my Rawda visit for after all the work is done and I've dealt with all the mu'tamirun and everything else. I left my Rawda visit for the last few hours I was in Medina al-Munawwara. I finished my visit in the Rawda. I came out. I observed the Isha. I went to my room. I took my bags. I went to the airport. So you got to see where you are, who's with you, what the situation is, what the needs of your physical and spiritual heart are at the time, and you make a choice based on that. Yes, yes. But where's the sister from the school? This is what happens. No, because they'll complain to you that you always run over time. That we can't stop, Yeah, any other questions? No? Yes. Yes, so you've got that link to keep them, it gives you automatic clearance. If you don't have that, it just makes the process a bit more cumbersome. Because now they want to check, and then the particular official may not be able to read English, all of that stuff. So once you've got pre-clearance, alhamdulillah, it's quick and easy, you show them, move to. Okay, good. So what happens is you make the booking on the app, right? It generates a hologram on your phone. When you come there and present yourself, naturally, let's say, for instance, we use the example of Jum'ah, you pick the 10:40 slot. For the 10:40 slot, you must join the queue at least by 9:50 because there's a pre-queue. So now there's two queues. There's a queue for groups, there's a queue for individuals. So you go through the queue for individuals. Okay, fine. It's a pre-screen nusuk. You show them, okay, fine. I have a valid booking. Fine. Now they keep you in a kind of holding area. Then there's a person with a POS, point of sale, a device. He scans. Once he scans, you walk through. You're not yet in the road. Now you go into a holding area inside the wing of the haram. Door number 37. Everyone talks about door number 37. Now, remember, it's not an exact science of where they say the capacity is 268 people. No. It's based on surface area, floor size. So they have an area demarcated. This is the same for males and females. An area demarcated that says this number of musalliyun, mu'tamirun, zawar, visitors, seated, understand, is how much capacity we have in the actual roller. So when this area is now full, they're like, okay, radio, clean out there, next round time. So you're sitting now and call it the lobby. What do you do in the lobby? Durud and salawat upon Habibuna Mustafa Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right, so we're in Durud, like, hey, I'm going to meet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm going to be in Jannah in a few minutes time. That's not about, where's my brother, where's my cousin, did he make it in? You know what I'm saying? No, focus. It's the last few minutes before you go in. Right, then this idea of tama'nina, composure. Because when they say, okay, stand up, boom, now everyone runs. Wait, you Muslim Nabawi, sallallahu ala sahibihi. How can you run in the house of Allah? Now with composure, you walk. Knowing that what Allah has chosen for you as a spot there is guaranteed. Based on what? The pre-investment. The durud and salawat that starts from now. You think if you've done your part, Allah is going to shortchange you in the road? Put you behind a pillar, took you one step out of the road? No chance. If you invested. So you invest from now. Deliberate composure, you walk in, alhamdulillah, and then you will find your place and your space. So for your 10:40 appointment, you started at 9:50. Queue, pre-queue, scan, lobby, 10:40, you'll see 10:42, 10:43. You eventually now in the road. If you get in with this one for Jum'ah, your wudu game must be very good. Your wudu game. Yes. And similarly, sisters, if you get a double session, right? So your wudu game must be on point. And you must make sure, subhanAllah, that you are not just there because, I got in the road, I'm going to be here for Jum'ah. No. What am I going to do? Jum'ah is still 1.5 hours away. What did I plan? We spoke about having that plan. I'm going to get in, inshallah. This is the Rawda appointment I've secured. Remember, you would be able to secure this 14 days before. This is the slot that I got. This is how much of time I got there. In that time, I know it takes me so much, as an example, the Jummah example, to read Surah Al-Kahf. And it takes me so much time to read, Surah Al-Waqiyah. And it takes me so much of time to read Surah Al-Dukhan. Good. And then I want to give a component to dua. What's the du'as that I'm going to make because it's just before Jum'ah? You must flesh this out in your plan. So it's deliberate. Yes, so that's where these things come in, right? You're going into the road, your shoes are not outside. What's my choice in terms of that? I'm going there because we're over time. I want to show you some of the gizmos and the gadgets, right? So subhanAllah, I know that I'm going to be there. There's no place for me to put my shoe bag down. My choice in terms of shoe bag allows me to do what? Allows me to make salah with my shoes on my back so they don't get lost. because it's a confined space and everyone's, not in a negative sense, fighting for place. So I'm not an inconvenience to anyone. My shoes are on my back, but my shoes are on my back when I go into ruku, boom, the whole bed goes lopsided, falling all over. No, I've strapped it in such a way that that doesn't happen. It doesn't come over my head when I make sujood, males or females. So all of these considerations are very much in place. That's why we told you this is a condensed version, not the full version. Yes. There's no place. Not in the roll. If you can, the smart thing, male or female, to do is to kind of place your shoe bag, if it's small, to place it, subhanAllah, in the area between where your knees would be when you make sujood and where your hands would be. So that kind of, not ahead of it, then you're encroaching in someone else's space, right? Anything else, brothers and sisters? We're some minutes over time already. Not chasing anyone, right? Exactly. Good. So the sling is something that works for me. The sling has everything that's important. I wouldn't encourage you to do this because you do have safety deposit boxes in there. Just the nature of how we operate in Makkah al-Mukarramah and Madinah al-Munawwarah as the guides is we up and go at any time. Like the phone rings, they're like, Abdur, jump on a taxi and leave you in Makkah. I was like, I need to go to the hotel to get my ihram. They're like, there's no time for it. Then I just buy an ihram at the miqat, as an example, right? So I move with my passport in my sleeve. Naturally, I would not recommend you to do that. So you keep everyone's passports in the safety deposit box, right? Okay. In terms of cash, there's some small denominations, 10, 20, 25 riyals. And actually, I'm in Madinah al-Munawwarah, so my Durud and Salawat upon Habibuna Mustafa Muhammad Sallallahu. That's been one of the closest, easiest pockets for access. And that's the year. I got some loose riyals. Good. All right. So that's there. Someone closed the zip, they open, they didn't score 500 riyals. All right. Okay, but if you come inside the bed, in the internal pocket, don't judge. So mashallah, the 500 riyal, the 100 riyal is totally, but it's on an internal pocket, as an example. Where is this bed? It's on me. If you say, Rahman, make salah, put your bed down, no chance. Allah forbid, there's a disaster here, there's a, not may happen, inshallah, it doesn't happen ever again. There's a stampede. Rahman's identification is not there. When they find Rahman as a shaheed, his identification is on all. So the bare essentials you need to survive in a sling bag with you. What's there? From a month of bare essentials in the 2025, 1446 Hijri manifestation of going to the Haramain, 3-meter charging cable. Good. I can charge my phone on the plane, on the train, mashallah, anyway. As a brother, mashallah, there should also be one qalamsu there when I shave my head. This is on me all the time, right? So that's the first level of gear. So good. Then we go to the next. I'll come back later. So that's with regards to bags, right? So the next is my day bag. So this is my shoe bag. Good. You don't really need this for Umrah now in December. It would be useful if you have children. It also has a water bladder in it, so the type that runners and hikers and cyclists use. Right? This is my shoe bag. I've been running this. It's the bid'ah that I added to Hajj and Umrah. Inshallah, I'll take the reward in Jannah for all the people that have implemented it. In there, I have snacks. So sugar, right? So not just any sweets. I mean, those that are healthy as a quick source of giving you some boost, a little bit of rehydrate, some nuts, some dates. And I told you it's winter, my umbrella. Good. And enough space for me to put my foot with me. What does this mean? Like I said, this is not really required. The bladder is not really required in winter, but it's equally useful. If you're making Hajj, you definitely need this. If I could loan from fiqh, it's far. 45 degrees plus heat. I have 2.5 liters of Zamzam on me at any given time. I have to be Zamzam chemistry is there. If I move from here, I'm going to lose my spot. No, I'm making tawaf. I hope the guy with a Zamzam comes fast because I'm very thirsty. No, halas, I got my 2.5 liters. Any given time. This is a game changer of note. Those who've made Hajj more recently, they'll tell you, right? So that's my day pack. In here, I've got, like I showed you, umbrella, this, that, whatever, some snacks. I can naturally see to my kids, tell my baby, here's a sweet boy, keep yourself busy, makes half an hour, talk to me after it, come to me for kind of thing. Right? So no money in this because there's going to be times when I get this stuff. The money is either on my person, on my internal pocket, or in my sleep. In my sleep, I need 600 riyals. There isn't 3,000 riyals. Good. Safety deposit box or internal pocket. You really don't have that kind of money anymore. Right? Most of you will be moving with plastic. Make sure that you indicate to your bank beforehand that they've activated it for the countries you are traveling to. So you're going, Habibi, don't come to Dubai. You need to let the bank know, or be transit, that I'm going to be visiting this country for the duration from the time you depart SA till return, and actually Saudi Arabia. Yes, Feroz come, Feroz is come. It's like, wow, no, it's supposed to be happening. Good. So, mashallah, that should tell you a little bit about luggage. Hope it gives you a guide. You have a good set. Okay, mashallah. Shall I quickly unpack the bag if there's no other questions? It also like supposed to be bringing up the unpack. I still not reading up the okay, that should be okay. Hey, so rather than this, we did the ihram, right? Now, if I'm going to Makkah to Mukarramah first, where's the ihram going to be? It's going to be in a hand language. I'm talking about transit. I'm not talking about staying 2 nights in Cairo and right? Because then you checking in. The idea surrounding packing your luggage is, if your luggage had to be misplaced, does it jeopardize your trip? Should never jeopardize it. Which means the big essentials to undertake this trip are what? My ihram. Where would that be, male or female? Going to Medina first, going to Makkah first? Where would that be? In the hand language. So I go to Medina, your bag single time if your bag lands. Oh, my God, my ihram. Those I can buy more those. Right? So, as an example, that was the right now. There's a concept that you are seeing here. I have one bag in another bag. Okay, let's assume for now, this is my check-in luggage. So every luggage set comes small, medium, large. Small, carrying bag, medium, large, check-in luggage. Right? For illustration purposes, I'm using the small and medium. You would generally use the medium and the large. Right? My luggage allowance is either 23 kilos or 2 by 23 kilos. I only need 46 kilos of stuff to go for 2 weeks. I can very easily manage in 23 kilos. So I pack everything I need into the smaller bag. Then I pack the smaller bag into the big bag. What does this mean? I save $200 for a piece of luggage. I don't need luggage. You're not wrapping your luggage because you're worried about stuffs. You're wrapping your luggage because you're worried about pilferage. So when they put the pen through the zip and they feel, no, let me leave this bag, let me try it. All right? That's the idea. Right, now there's also something else. This, subhanAllah, is my thawb. What's it? So normally you have what's called so you have this piece where you will put your suit jackets, right? So I've had one tailored, alhamdulillah, I can see of my mom, for my clothes. So I lay my clothes out into my thawb case and put that at the bottom of the luggage. Meaning what? When I get to Medina, I don't need to iron because I don't know how to iron. My clothes are straight. And then I pack everything on top of it. So whether it's in this way, where I put the clothes here and then the internal bag, or in the internal bag, I first lay out all the clothes, then subhanAllah, I go to the rest of the luggage. Okay, so in the one compartment, I'm going to have what? I'm going to have the rain jacket, right? And I'm going to have one set of clothing. This would be whether in the internal bag or whether in the hand luggage. So now I'm going to do 2 illustrations at the same time. In the hand luggage, other than the ihram, I have a full clothing set. Head to toe, internal clothing, inner clothing, outer clothing. If the luggage goes, the check-in luggage goes, colors next for 24, 36 hours, I can manage. But So I've got my rain jacket, I've got one balance sword, and I've got one clothing. But then beyond that, subhanAllah is a male, I'm going to need some underpants or some pants. I chose these Zanzibari ones, right? Because they're thick and it's going to be a bit cold. They also, subhanAllah, very loose fitting, so I can sleep in there. And they kind of stylish, like I look like a cowboy in Saudi Arabia. Right. This, subhanAllah, I think that it should definitely considered. Melamine plates, melamine bowl, insulated fan. I don't need to phone users. I have a tablespoon, a teaspoon, a kitchen knife. You might have to travel to family, ensure that not everyone needs everything, but you can kind of see the thing. So I'm very independent self-reliant. Okay. Based on how I operate, each person will be different. I know that if I have my jungle loads, I'm good for the day. So I take my supply, planning. I take my supply of jungle oats from 13th of December to 4th of January. It takes my leg. I'm going empty, right? So if you take this as 2 kilos, plus the total buying for it in Ramadan, I will replace it, right? Sisters, I want thick socks with some rubber at the bottom. For tawaf, for walking in the haram. Right, so these are the type that we get from Ulvers, not in the now this summer. Or you can get yoga. Right? Brothers, people out of a haram, you're going to be wearing this. Right. Multi-plug adapter. This is the one you should look for. It's like you ask the one in the class group, then I'll share a picture and then tell you, right? So subhanAllah, one multi-plug adapter that can take the square pins, right? And for the round pins, and also take the for 2 pins. Right? You're not going to be carrying a laptop or something. Okay, this random up here, I don't here. I'll show it to you because I can't hide now. Stress quality form. Always later off the bed. And then subhanAllah, I have a whole lot of snacks, right? So jungle oats bars, my personal first aid kit, naturally normally traveling with the passengers or children. So I have my personal first aid kit. Then subhanAllah, as a male, I have upper underclothing, which is preferably white t-shirts, because I'm going to be wearing light color clothes. And in terms of the choice of t-shirts, I don't go cotton. Because cotton gets sweaty and clings to your body, it becomes uncomfortable. So I look at kind of the gym kind of clothes, right? So light clothes. So respectfully, sisters as well, when it comes to upper inner clothing, personal clothing, look at the gym range. So the stuff that doesn't have wire cross bars and all of that, right? Because at times you may need to sleep in, etc. Right? Good. In your checked-in luggage, not in your hand luggage. In your checked-in luggage, buffet. In your hand luggage, they need to right? Spare umbrella, spare umbrella, spare umbrella, and then subhanAllah, a lot of snack. And because I like my cardamom chai, don't go there and be moody with everyone. I didn't get my fix. I pack my cardamom. Isn't it that? You like karak, whatever it is you like, subhanAllah, you make sure you have it. In terms of snacks, I'm very adventurous. I like eating food from all different places of the world, trying out different cuisine, etc. But there are certain things that you can't find anywhere else in the world. One of them is Cadbury's chocolate. Even the Cadbury's chocolate in land is not like chocolate. You can Cadbury's chocolate because the quality of the milk and the sugar is not the same. So I get my Cadbury's chocolate as an example. Right? So whatever snacks give you that creature comfort that make you feel normal as a human being, subhanAllah, that's about it. Yes. So you're likely to have a tweezer. You're likely to have a tweezer, a small scissor. Yeah. Right. So that's the reason why it's in here. So I actually have 2 of these exactly. The one has sharps, which is in here, and the other one generally doesn't have sharps, which is in the hand luggage. Good. Well spotted. Good question. Good. MashaAllah. So for those of us with chronic medication, where? Hand luggage. On an Umrah club. You don't have a supply like Hajj where it's 5 and 6 weeks, right? So you should manage chronic medication for 14 odd days in your hand luggage. Right? Naturally, you've click the link, you've made sure that you've got all the medication approved. There's a link for you to have this pre-approved. And then naturally my cosmetics and toiletries. Naturally these would, you can see, even though it's in my check-in luggage, the size of each of the containers is under 100 ml, so you don't have those issues with legs, right? So liquids and gases, etc., etc. That kind of covers it. And then most of this, right? So we talk about from a logistics perspective, right? Cover concepts like EOQ, etc., etc. Economic order quantity. I have only sufficient to what I require and maybe 2 or 3 days. I don't take any more because more is more weight, and more is more weight. At the end of the trip, I'm having to make a decision between I don't need this because I can buy toothpaste at home. I don't need this conditioner because I got more conditioner at home. So what's happening? I'm disposing of that to make place for my shopping. But I'm being wasteful. So even in this, there's thinking. Understand? Allah gave me this as a resource. Doesn't mean, mashallah, I got an extra 2K sitting there, I can go and buy a gate when I go. No, that's being wasteful. So I pack to this extent smartly. Only what I need is maybe 2 or 3 days additional, and beyond that, subhanAllah, all good. Let's think if there's anything additional to this that I need to do. Anything you think of as a power bank, normally will be in that section, right? What else? Torch, you don't need this one. Airline restrictions with power banks, yeah. So, yeah, and you're not going to need that big a power bank like we normally need on Hajj. But so a general normal power bank, inshallah, should cover you sufficiently. Sorry? Wudu bottles, it's actually more a Hajj thing than an Umrah thing, because Umrah, both Haramain have bathrooms close by, right? So if you want to take a small spray bottle, yes, appreciate that if you're going to be making wudu in that manner, in a condition of where you will say majboor and you are compelled to, then you must be very cognizant of where you are making wudu. Because the runoff water, the effluent water from wudu is not regarded as clean. So that means if I'm going to make wudu with a spray bottle, I must have a face towel. Sorry, not a face cloth, a hand towel, the bigger one, that I place on the musalla and I let the water run off from there. So I'm not soiling the musalla. When I say soiling from a tahara perspective, not from a making dirty perspective. Good. Good. So mashallah, with regards to footwear. With regards to footwear for a male, the pair of shoes that I'm going to use in ihram should be the pair of shoes that I'm going to use. No. Everything else is extra. It's weight, it's place, it's space. So for me, as a Hanafi male, these are my ihram shoes, right? As a Hanafi male. As a Shafi male, let's just talk about hiking sandals. Naturally, I have socks because it's going to be winter. Right, so I wear my hiking sandals, I fly with the hiking sandals, naturally, with socks, without socks. When I get to Saudi, I put the socks on, good. Do I need a sneaker, and then a hiking sandal for ihram, and then a flip-flop for the bathroom? No, it's all overkill. So I try and think about things that are multifaceted, multi-purpose in terms of their use, versatile, right, to reduce the number of items, artifacts that I need to get. So with I did this as an illustration. Remember, 14 days, my thought is not in here. Just a suitcase for the thought. Other than my thoughts, I'm ready. Tell me, Abdur Rahman, there's a ticket flight tomorrow. Get me leave from work. I'll go. I'm ready. Bag is packed, right? So some would choose to have a carry-on, a wheel carry-on like that. Others would be more comfortable with a backpack. So I use this for illustration purposes. I showed you a bag in bag, right? As checked-in luggage. What is the advantage of the way I've done it here? When I come back, so that you may witness the benefits that Allah has kept for you. Right? When Allah speaks about Hajj. What's inevitably going to happen? I'm going to shop. I'm going to shop. Buy my kids, inshallah, new clothes. I buy a full date supply that I choose at a cheap cost for Ramadan. You know what I'm saying? So that bag will be a check-in bag. This bag will be a check-in bag. So it's also a means of you saving, having to take out money in Saudi Arabia. Oh, I need to buy another bag. Follow? You know, just went with one bag, but you packed a bag in a bag, which means I don't need another piece of luggage. Good. And if it so happens that I don't find anything to my fancy and I don't shop, I just pack back the same way, a bag in a bag. Good. Now, when it comes to luggage rack at Saudi airport, is there a risk of pilfering at Saudi airport? Not as great as what Rahman was mentioning. So there's no definite need for luggage rack. Unless you are worried, you know, the gold and all of those things. But then it shouldn't be in your checking luggage. Fine. So, Kalam Suwa, as I read in dates, one though, my travel musalla, my shoe bag, some dates, a set of underclothing, t-shirt, shorts, another Kalam Suwa. This is actually packed for Hajj. So, space it of the haram sales. Good. That's it. Alhamdulillah. Done. Wallahi, nothing else, nothing difficult. People sending you long lists, packing lists for Umrah, different packing lists for Hajj, mashallah. Who are the people sending you? You go and see, mashallah, the marketing one day. It's the people running the Instagram businesses.
Moulaana, I know shoe bag. We use when you shoe bag. That prevents you from putting on your head and you
Good. So that was a space shoe bag. This is my shoe bag. Jazakumullah khairan for the question. So there is my shoe bag. Good. It has a strap for the waist. And equally it has a strap for the chest, which means that when I reach Salah, it's not going all over. Right? Sisters, I appreciate subhanAllah having a chest strap sometimes a bit challenging. You may just use it Salah time, but this is the time it's a piece. You can adjust the straps accordingly so that it's comfortable when you walking or silhouette, you know, of your body does not show. So, as an example, this is one of those regular drawstring shoe bags, but even in terms of being able to influence in the Hajj and Umrah industry, this is not those cheap ones that take 2 days into your trip. You'll see it's a much higher grade shoe bag that even is given as your courtesy marketing paraphernalia, because functionality for us is a big thing. So in terms of the Hajj and Umrah companies that we are able to influence, inshallah, we get them to give you better quality stuff. It's actually useful. Good. Any questions, brothers and sisters? All good. And with that, inshallah, we say subhanallah, bihamdihi, subhanallah, wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim wal hasb. إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Beloved brothers and sisters, mothers and elders, give us shortcomings or misgivings on our side. There's anything that we said that you felt offensive because of our quirks, one of them to offend you. Please do remember us all that we keep in your du'as throughout your trip, inshallah. And for those of you traveling mid-December to early January, be sure as families to keep in touch to one family member from the family. Appreciating some of the sisters maybe traveling with elderly parents as your mahal. I'm very comfortable with you keep in touch with me with this any ziyarah and stuff that we are doing that you feel you would like to latch on to. By all means, and I will be very happy to accommodate you. You have your dua journals, inshallah, on the WhatsApp group. I will share a list of my specific dua requests. So all we can will be there myself. Your dua will get accepted before mine. So alhamdulillah, we'll share it with you. Oh, yes. So alhamdulillah, Hafiz Adil was kind enough to prepare 15 of these Umrah packs. Let's stick to dua cards, which make it a bit easier instead of having a book. So there's 15 of these packs. I think we would have